What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made these beautiful, delicious, smoky, fatty, crispy, amazing pork belly porchetta style pork steaks. Coming up. This is a pork belly. Patted dry. Just a standard pork belly. Picked this up at my local H-E-B. This is actually half of a pork belly, and they always have these there. Very fun cut to play around with. And as far as trimming this up goes, there's a little bit of silver skin on the back here. Might as well clean that up. Probably not necessary, but you know, while I'm here, might as well. But other than that, not going to do too much to this, but we are in fact making some porchetta pork steaks today, which is something I've been wanting to make for a long time. Just because I was thinking about making a pork steak that's even juicier and fattier, and pork belly seems like the obvious choice. So basically just kind of roll it up like this, cut it up into individual steaks, and then just cook it direct heat. Should be delicious. And all day I've been debating about whether or not I'm going to season this up, tie it, and then cut steaks, or just go right from the get-go, slice this up into probably thirds or maybe 4 pieces, and then roll it up. And I think I'm going to do that. That way I can get rub all over each side before I roll this up. So we got to figure out how thick we want these pork steaks to be. And I'm thinking something about like that. So just go through a nice clean cut. That way we can take this, probably go this way with it. Once it's all rubbed down, roll it up. We got a nice fatty little pork steak going on. In fact, that looks even too thick. So we'll do one that's a little bit smaller this time. Actual pork steak thickness. We'll see what comes out best. This little guy. Yeah, that's a little bit more what I was envisioning. Nice fatty, good amount of meat in there though. Beautiful, looks good to me. Let's keep going. And there we go, all stripped out. Probably only cook a couple of these, save the rest of these for making some pork belly burn ends or something like that. But before we go ahead and tie these up, we need to make ourselves a rub. Our rub today is going to be a pretty classic Italian porchetta themed herbaceous lovely rub, starting with some diamond crystal kosher salt, some granulated garlic, granulated onion, some red chili flakes, some black pepper, some Italian seasoning blend, that's your marjoram, basil, rosemary, thyme, that kind of stuff. Going with some dry parsley, finish it off with some ground fennel. And just get that all nice and mixed up. And now all we need to do is get these rubbed all over. Oh, that smells very good. Just a nice healthy coating. Pretty salt heavy rub, so we're gonna go on as if this were a seasoned salt. You know, not too heavy, but we still wanna get a lot of good flavor in there. Flip them over. And of course, there's plenty of ways to do this. A skin on belly would be wonderful, but those are hard for me to find. You could also not go with the Italian flavor profile. Just do whatever rub you like. You could also get a bunch of fresh herbs involved. But we're just trying to keep this simple, nice, easy recipe. And of course, folks, we're not gonna forget the sides, because that'd be a rookie move. Fighting the wind. Beautiful. Just kind of get these mixed up, pick up everything on the table. Starting to smell real nice out here. And now we're just gonna roll these up nice and tight, looking good. Grab ourselves a piece of some butcher's twine, get that going right through the middle, and get this all tied up. Beautiful. Gonna repeat that process a few more times, not the stringing, and we'll end up with a bunch of beautiful little pork belly pinwheel porchetta style pork steaks. And just like that, we got all these bad boys rolled up, ready to go, and I think it's time to fire up the pit. And on the pit we go. Just doing some typical direct heat Chud box cooking today. Got a nice healthy coal bed down below, sitting right around 275, 300 degrees. And we're just gonna let these things start to cook up. All that fat's gonna start dripping down, hitting the coals, giving us some wonderful direct heat flavor. I'm definitely gonna have to keep an eye out for flare-ups, because this is pork belly we're talking about after all, and pork belly plus direct heat often leads to flare-ups. Also gonna throw these little guys on just because they look too tasty not to make a couple of little burn ends out of. But we'll see how long this takes. Shouldn't be more than a couple hours, and we'll check back in. All right, folks, we're about, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes into this cook, and I just took my first peek, and I made a mistake. Let's look. Didn't see that coming. Yeah, as soon as these started cooking, they rose upward as the meat kind of started to expand. And they are now pork volcanoes instead of little mini pork steaks. So I need to make some decisions right now. All right, so I pulled them off the pit, and naturally the strings fell off immediately because they lost their shape. And I grabbed some skewers and I shot them right through the center, and I flipped these all over. So now it's kind of like a big old pork belly lollipop kebab situation. And all we need to hope for at this point is that these skewers don't burn up. Probably should have soaked attempt those, but you know, we might just have another fail video on our hands here. Regardless, we're getting some really nice color on there. We've got plenty of smoke coming out of here from all the fat dripping down. You might be able to hear that. And these are looking pretty good. So hopefully they hold their shape, and we'll check back in another hour or so. All right, it's been about 45 minutes. And these things are looking great. Got some nice color on there. They're feeling crispy. If you could feel them, they're kind of like shattering, almost like crackling, although these are in fact skin off. But that's kind of what I was going for. You know, pork belly can be cooked to where the fat's not completely rendered and it's kind of, you know, kind of greasy, kind of soft still, or you can cook it all the way till it gets really nice and crispy. And that's what I was going for with this recipe. And yeah, these skewers seem to have worked out just fine, but I think I'm gonna whip up a quick little tomato sauce to add on top of these just for some extra flavor. So onto my magical trivet here. I'm going down with the saucepan, and I'm gonna go in with a nice big squeezer of some olive oil. And then I'm gonna bust out my mini garlic mandolin. Beep, beep, beep. This thing is great. And I'm simply gonna just shave in some nice thin shavings of garlic. These should toast up really quickly and add some wonderful flavor to our tomato sauce. Beautiful. As you can see, we're starting to get some nice golden brown toasting going on. And while this goes, I'm gonna go in with a nice little pinch of some red chili flakes. I'm also gonna go in with some whole fennel seeds, just to kind of toast in the oil. Beautiful. And just get that smelling real nice. And once nicely toasted and nice and fragrant, I'm gonna go in with a whole bunch of basil. Add some nice summertime freshness to this oil. Oh, smells so good. And then lastly, once you start getting real concerned about your garlic starting to burn, we're gonna go in with some tomato sauce. And then to clean out my jug, I rinsed it out with some water, which we're gonna add in just a cup or so, just to kind of thin this out a little bit. Beautiful. Bring that up to a simmer. Just gave it a taste. Very good. Nice and garlicky. Basil freshness. Does need a big fat pinch of salt, but remember, it's going on to some pretty salty meat, so go easy with it. But I think that's gonna do it for this super simple little tomato sauce. Let's go glaze up these bad boys. Woo! Loving the color on those. Looking nice and crispy. Just some beautiful direct heat pork belly. Nothing wrong with that, folks. And I worry that putting tomato sauce is gonna ruin that beautiful appearance, but I think it's gonna taste really good. So we're gonna go for it. Boop, busting out the old mop. I think the natural acidity from the tomatoes is really gonna cook onto these. Kind of work like a barbecue sauce, kind of work like a mop sauce, and just add some really good flavor, soften them up a little bit, and yeah, that's looking pretty tasty to me. You let these cook on for a little bit, probably mop the other side, let that sauce cook on, and these will be done. Several mops later, these things are looking absolutely beautiful, and for one final touch, we're gonna grate on some Parmigiano Reggiano. Ooh, yeah. Just because, why not? Just melt that in a little bit. Beautiful. Love it. I think it's time to dive in. Not gonna lie, folks, these are looking pretty tasty. I added a little dry parsley on there just to make that thumbnail pop. You know how it is, but yeah, I'm gonna let these cool down for a minute, and then we're gonna see how they came out. It's kind of pretty, almost Christmassy. Let's take a slice and see how it came out. I'm not sure if I should do chunks, like go around and kind of unravel it, or if I should go slices and just kind of get through it. Either way works for me. But as you can see, beautiful cook on that. Nice and tender, nice and fatty, good render on there. These little chunks are kind of like burn ends. And it does have that pork steak look, which is pretty awesome. Oh wow, that is phenomenal. So much flavor. Not much to hate about that. That Parmesan on there is really nice. It's got a perfect amount of salt to it, a little bit of acidity from that tomato sauce. It's rich, but it's cooked really far, so it's not super fatty. That's very good. Oh, wow. It's kind of exactly what I wanted it to come out like. It's got, first and foremost, incredible pork steak flavor because it's cooked direct. All that fat dripping on really gives it a lot of smoky flavor. But then on top, you get the tomato, the garlic, the Parmesan, the fennel, the herbs, all those classic kind of Italian-American flavors that you find on like a chicken parm or something like that. Complements it very well. That is so good. Again, because we cooked it kind of crispy, it's really not that heavy, and that flavor is addicting. That is so good. And it's great because you can slice it or make pork belly burn ends out of it, you know? Oh, that's a keeper. I suppose if you wanted to, you could cut it kind of like picanha style. Make some really good sandwiches out of that. Oh, the bark. It's just so savory and so good. Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, now Brooke is full, but I need you to try a piece.
Is it this one? Can I try that one?
No, you can try this one.
What about that one?
That one's too lean. You gotta get the flavor.
This This looks like just only fat, though.
You just give it a try. Oh, they're going for the dry part.
Good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm eating it now, and I'm realizing that it's very similar to spaghetti and meatballs. But instead of a meatball, it's like a pork belly burn end.
It does have like a brightness to it. Like I thought it was lemon, maybe.
No lemon. I did regret not putting lemon zest into any part of this.
Oh,
but
wow.
just the tomatoes, adding a little acidity.
I thought these were links for a second from inside.
No, just pork belly roll-ups. A little spindle.
Pinwheel?
Try that one.
Is that what you meant? Brad, I'm so full.
Why?
Because you made sausage, you made, oh, and then I had one of your breakfast sausages, and then I had more pork belly. I'm full. That was all before this. Unfilmed.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we had tots.
Like,
Lauren was here earlier.
You gotta have tots. All right, well, I guess I'll just eat this feast by myself then.
I'll save it for tomorrow, but thank you for sharing.
What's
an apron for if I can't wipe my dirty fingers on it?
It's for being presentable on camera. I really should have made some garlic bread. That would go really good with these. She's missing out. The fatty part is so good. But I know someone who is never too full. That's right, folks. It's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely incredible porchetta-style pork steaks, or whatever you want to call this dish. I highly recommend giving this one a try. It was a bit of a roller coaster. I thought it was going to be a fail when they immediately fell apart when I put them on the grill. But at the end of the day, they came out exactly how I wanted them to. It had that amazing pork steak flavor that pairs really well with that kind of classic tomato sauce. The herbs really shine through. The garlic was there. The acidity from the tomato sauce is really what kind of got me thinking about this recipe. And I suppose if you wanted to make it easier, next time you make some pork belly burn ends, I highly recommend just throwing a tomato sauce together real quick because it really is an awesome combination. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.